We're going to troubleshoot why your Python setup.py _wheel command isn't working correctly for GDAL, Pillow, and macOS. This often happens because these libraries have dependencies that aren't readily available during the build process. Let's tackle the common causes and solutions. 1. Missing dependencies. GDAL and Pillow rely on external libraries. GDAL often needs geos, proj, and potentially others depending on your desired functionalities. Pillow, while often simpler, might have issues if underlying image processing libraries are missing. On macOS, these are typically not installed by default. Before attempting the build, ensure you have the necessary dependencies installed. For GDAL, you'll likely need to use your system's package manager, like Homebrew, to install geos, proj, and potentially others. The exact commands depend on your package manager. For Homebrew, you would typically use brew install geos projs. Check GDAL's documentation for a complete list of its dependencies. Similarly, while Pillow often installs cleanly, if you're having issues, you might need to install certain image libraries your system lacks. However, this is less common. 2. Compiler issues. Write setup.py _wheel requires a C compiler to build GDAL and potentially parts of Pillow. macOS doesn't come with a compiler by default. Xcode command line tools are necessary. You can install them through the command line, Xcode select, install. Accept the prompts during installation. After installing the command line tools, ensure your environment variables are correctly set up. This is usually handled automatically, but occasionally requires manual configuration depending on how you installed Xcode. 3. Incorrect Python version. Ensure you're using a Python version supported by GDAL and Pillow. Check the library's documentation for compatibility information. Use a virtual environment, venv or conda, to isolate your project's dependencies and avoid conflicts with other Python projects. 4. Permissions problems. If you encounter permission errors during the build process, you may need administrator, root privileges. Use sudo before your write setup.py write command, but be very careful with sudo as it gives elevated access, which could be risky. Only do this if you fully understand the implications. 5. Outdated packages. Make sure you have the latest versions of setup tools and wheel. You can update them using pip install, upgrade setup tools wheel. Out-of-date build tools can lead to errors. 6. System libraries. Some libraries might require specific system libraries, which are not always installed by default. Research the system library dependencies for GDAL and Pillow. Check on the official website for each of these libraries, and check for instructions tailored for your macOS version. 7. Clean build. Before retrying the build, clean up any previous build artifacts. Delete the build and dist directories in your project's root directory. 8. Virtual environments. Again, strongly emphasize the use of virtual environments. They isolate your project's dependencies and help avoid conflicts. If you're not using virtual environments, start using them now. By systematically checking and addressing these points, you should be able to resolve the issues encountered during the write setup.py _wheel process for GDAL and Pillow on macOS. Remember to consult the official documentation for both libraries for the most up-to-date information and platform-specific instructions.